developing breeds of excellence.
Many people desire to give back to their society, what Abraham Maslow in his hierarchy of human needs called legacy. It's quite unfortunately that these people are constantly plagued with distractions that hinder them from optimal productivity, which is the heartbeat of our discussion today: overcoming distractions and staying focused on your goal. With me here is someone very competent to guide us through this way of, focusing on our goal and avoiding every distractions, avoidable and unavoidable distraction. He's a broker. He's the CEO of Organo Mushroom Development Limited. He's also a father, he's a pastor, and he's someone passionate about young people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pastor Valentine Travi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's nice having me here. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, today we are discussing overcoming distractions and staying focused on your goal. Statistics show that 63% of employees are distracted at their workplace. And there are all kinds of distractions. We have manual, cognitive, we have physical distractions, and a whole lot. And someone just might be listening to us and saying, when I set my heart to achieve anything, I get it done regardless. So that person is saying, well, I do not fall under this category of distracted people or people who are plagued with distractions. So in your own opinion, what would you call a distraction?
Okay, I mean, 63% is a very high statistic. For you to say 63% of the workforce, suffer from one form of distraction or the other, tells you that there's a possibility that many organizations are suffering from inefficiencies. Okay, so what really is a distraction? A distraction basically could mean anything, it could be, but as long as it is taking you away from what is priority, what you ought to do at a certain time, then it's a distraction. I said it that way so that we don't become too academic about it. It could mean anything. In fact, some things that are legitimate could be distractions because they are coming at a certain time they are not supposed to come. Okay, take for instance, I'm a pastor, I preach. My child could be a distraction at a certain point if he comes to me on the pulpit. Is my child bad? No. But at that point in time, I'm addressing the congregation. So it's going to serve as a distraction. So that's just an analogy to let you know that there are so many things that could be distraction. But as long as that thing comes at a time you're meant to focus on something else, then that thing is a distraction.
Even if it's legitimate.
Even if it is legitimate. There are legitimate things that could be distraction.
So distraction is not just things, like you mentioned, it can also be people.
It could be people, it could be situations, it could be circumstances, it could be anything at all.
So is there anything called unavoidable distraction?
Well, avoidable distractions are distractions that could be prevented. You understand me now? But then there are situations that happen, we call them crises.
Okay.
You understand? It seems like you can't avoid it. So it seems to come like, that is what you probably would term unavoidable distraction. You understand? Something you didn't plan for, but it suddenly happens. Yes, it might be a distraction. Maybe you're going somewhere and then something comes up. You get. But your ability to still navigate through such situation is actually what sets you apart from other people. You see, organizations and life generally will throw up crisis at you.
Is that what organization called putting up with pressure?
Yes, sometimes. Yes, being able to work under pressure. We face pressure. Pressure comes from different forms. As a wife, as a father, pressures could come. That is unavoidable.
That is a distraction. Okay, so what if something like that keeps occurring frequently?
Okay, if you have...
It might not be a call this time around, but
yes, where you keep having crisis coming up every time. I would make a reference to the Eisenhower matrix, or what some people call the urgent important matrix. Basically, that matrix helps you to put into perspective things that are urgent and important, things that are not urgent but they are important, things that are urgent but not important, and things that are not urgent and not important. You see, if you're able to do this, you will now, that is one way to navigate through distractions. Because some people not being able to plan their lives always come up with crisis, and they will always want to bring the crisis on another person. But if you are able to identify, all these various aspects of your life, what is it that is urgent and important? What is it that is not urgent but is important? What is it that is urgent but not important? What is it that is not urgent and not important? So when a call comes in, I can easily say, where does this fall? That way, you don't get distracted from achieving your goal. Because you see, what is urgent and important is something you want to attend to immediately.
Yeah.
You want to do it now. What is not urgent but important is something that is not urgent. You can schedule it, you plan it.
And you must get it done.
You understand, but it may not be immediately. You get it done, but not immediately. Then what is urgent and not important may be something you need to delegate. Somebody else might need to attend to it. You don't have to be the Messiah at all times that attends to everything. Then there are certain things that are not urgent and are not important. They don't worth your time. So if pressures come or situations happen and they do like that, then you're able to know, is this something I need to attend to now? Is this something I can plan for attend to later? Is this something that I need to delegate for somebody else to attend to? Or is this something I just totally need to eliminate? That way you keep your sanity, you're able to still focus on what you need to do and still achieve your goals.
So I think the not urgent and not important should be scribbled out of your itinerary for that day.
Exactly. So you are a student, you're preparing for an exam, and a friend comes and then tells you a musician is in town, let's go watch, or something like that. It's not urgent, it's not important. Or so many of you have iPhones, you're working, or smartphones, Internet browsing is a time waster, it's a time killer. It's not urgent, it's not important. You just want to flip through TikTok, flipping through Instagram, flipping through anything like that, not with the aim of getting an information that will be useful for you. It's not urgent, so there are things you need to delete. There are things, in fact, now some app developers are helping develop some apps that will help you take off your screen time.
Wow.
Yes, there are apps now that helps you to just take off your screen time. They just sleep the phone just to help you focus. You understand? Because they realize that people, you made a statistic that says 63%. It tells you that a lot of people in the workforce are distracted. So there's a lot of inefficiencies. No wonder many businesses in Nigeria are dying. Maybe because a lot of them are on their phones, just flipping through the phones, and then there is nothing they are really contributing to it. Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say about distracted people? Let's say you're someone who you are answerable to and you kind of can't say a no, or you know that is not your plan for that day. Take a parent, for example, take a boss, an employer, take someone who pays you. It might be just someone who you're answerable to, and the person comes and wants to get this thing done, but it's a distraction, but you are answerable to that person. So how do I deal with distracting people?
Okay, so first and foremost, we need to put it in perspective because you lumped a lot of people together.
Okay.
So if you're on a paid employment and you're doing something and your boss comes up with something else that is not on your itinerary for that day, it's different from when you get a call from your parent because your boss is paying you.
Yes.
Do you understand? Something may come up that to him is urgent. Now, he's your boss. And he said, oh, Valentine, I need you to attend to this. Meanwhile, he has also given you something to do for that day to do. So you need to now ask, and this you need to be open. Sorry, sir, which is priority? Do you want this done first or this done first? That way, you don't put yourself under too much pressure. And then you're also able to, because if you're focused on one thing and he wanted you to do something else, maybe there is a deadline for that day. You understand? Probably what you're currently doing could stay, wait a while you attend to that thing so that you can meet up with the deadline. But if you say, no, this is what I've planned for the day, and you don't go with then you miss the deadline, you can get sanctioned for that. So that's one scenario. But there are people you are answerable to that may come up with some situations and they distract. You understand me? So you should need to also look at it. Is this something to do? Is it something to plan for? Is it something to delegate or eliminate? You get what I'm trying to say. Now, so somebody calls you and is asking about, all he's talking about is just money problems. I don't know if you've seen the Mikel Obi video. The Mikel Obi video is an eye-opener to the way Africans, the way we behave. You understand? Some of them just want to call you and it's a money problem. If it's a money problem, you know what? I will attend to you at the end of the day. You understand? The house is not on fire. Your mother is not hospitalized. You know, nobody's there. Okay, so there was an emergency that happened. I traveled for a conference a few months ago. And just when I was arriving, I was getting close to the conference. I traveled from Jos. I was getting to Lagos. I got a call from my son that my wife collapsed. Now, I was going for a conference. I was several kilometers away. My wife collapsed. And the first question I asked was, is she conscious? Do you understand? At that point in time, that's a crisis.
Yes.
Now, it's something that is urgent and also important. But can I attend to it at that point? No, I can't attend to it at that point. So what did I do? I called. I reached out. Are you getting me? So the ability to manage crisis, you know, is what helps you out in situations. So I reached out to people. I called a neighbor who quickly who came to the house to attend to her. I mean, she was awake at that point. I called another person who is a medical practitioner in the teaching hospital. I called 3 persons in the teaching hospitals, actually. They all came to the house. It was an emergency. Yeah. So that is what I'm trying to say. So you must be able to identify, is this an emergency? Emergencies require you to leave every other thing, attend to it.
Yes. For proximity to UFI.
Yeah, but then I was far away, but I could reach out to people who could attend to it at that time because it was urgent and it was important at that moment. And thank God they attended to her and it was mitigated. So that's the same way. So you are probably doing something and somebody calls you. Is it an emergency? Is it something that requires me to attend to it now? You get? Is this something I could attend to after I'm done with this? You understand? I could schedule it for some other time. Is this something I could delegate for someone to do? You know, for me, I don't necessarily have to be there. You know, the situation I referred to, I would have loved to be there, but because I was several kilometers away, I couldn't do it. So, yeah, I attended to it by delegating some people who will attend to it immediately. You understand? So that's way. So somebody that you are answerable to calls you must be able to, you know, put things into perspective. That will help you to be able to know what to do. You understand?
Okay, sorry to actually buttress on this, but in a country where people multitask and they do quite a number of jobs. So I work in A, B doesn't know I work in A. And then the B boss needs me to get something done now, and the A boss needs me to also get something done now. Okay,
so that's now a personal problem. So you're not multitasking per se, but you're working with different organizations. Okay. If you have checked my profile, I also have several portfolios where I'm head of projects for an organization. I'm an MD in my own organization. I also head another project for another organization. And everybody reaches out to me.
It's quite tasking.
You understand? And it's quite tasking. So, but what you need to do is to also be able to look at which is urgent, which is deadline, which is this. Everybody will always want you to prioritize them. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? And by all means, give priority to everybody. But try as much as possible that when you are multitasking, see, people do a lot of multitasking. It ends up becoming a lot of motion without any form of direction. I mean, it's just activities and there is nothing coming out of it. If you're going to multitask, you must multitask with a goal in mind, with an end in mind. So your A boss says, do this. Is it just telling you that moment? Your B boss tells you do this. Is he just telling you that moment? And the chances are very high that both of them will not call you at the same time and tell you to submit at the same deadline. They might call you at different times. You understand me? And you must be able to prioritize. Look at it. Which one comes first? Which one can I quickly attend to? Which one can I attend to later?
Okay, I really love this contribution and you bringing something from your own perspective in your own world. It makes it more real. However, what are the strategies you would proffer, like tips you can give in order to maximize our time, stay focused? Are there strategies you want to give us concerning overcoming these distractions? Okay,
so there are time wasters and there are time savers. Okay, so you need to know how to save time. There are activities that waste your time. You get those activities, you can probably multitask. So like I spoke to some group of people this morning, I told them, I said, okay, for instance, you wake up every morning, we live in Jos, you probably have a gas burner that you use to warm water, to have your bath. You understand me? You should have planned for that a day before. Now, people put water on fire and sit down hoping, waiting for the water to finish boiling, then go have their bath and start cooking. There are activities you can multitask. If your gas burner is a two-faced gas burner, let the rice be on one, let water be on one while you are having your quiet time or you're praying. Or you're done praying, you're ironing your clothes. That is multitasking. You don't need to do carry out activities chronologically. You understand me now? Activities can run in pari passu, and then you get a lot of activities done per time. That way you save time. You understand? Then there are activities that shouldn't even be in your time. They are time wasters. You understand me now? These are time wasters that they just, there is nothing they're adding to you in any way. You get me now? You're flipping through the internet aimlessly. To what end?
Or unnecessary visits.
Unnecessary visits. So somebody just came in. You've planned your time and somebody just, we do it a lot in Africa. And I'm not saying it's bad, but somebody just knocks on your door and say, hey, I'm at your house. I'm here to visit you. I've got things to do. You see, there's a way you will say I'm busy without actually saying I'm busy, because if you say I'm busy, it may look rude. Exactly. You understand? But by the time the person comes in and sees you working, and you can actually say, oh, can you help me do this? Help me do that. Help me do it. He knows you're busy.
Yeah.
You understand me now? So you don't just allow someone who has not planned their own time to come crash into your own time. It creates a crisis for you.
If you're talking about focus, can you help us strike the balance between, let me take, for example, a father who lives majorly for just his family and is not even focused on anything happening outside his own world of his family, or a student who is solely focused on academics and any extracurricular social activity or anything that is not academic related is oblivious to whatever is happening on campus. So how do we strike that balance? Because such people can even be spiritual to tell you, Apostle Paul said, this one thing I do. So how do we strike that balance? Like being focused on, of course, I'm a student. So my aim is to graduate, for example, a first class. But then there are other things that just might catch my attention, but I want to be focused. So should I just lock myself in the room from the class to the room, to the library and all of that? Or a pastor, someone said, if all you live for is for your family, you are still a failure. Or how do I strike the balance between taking care of my family, seeing that my family I don't lose my family to the world, and also being able to be productive in other areas of my life?
And well, you see, it all boils down to understanding yourself. God actually made us social. So you can't be so hyper-focused as to, leave out some aspect of your life. Then you won't develop holistically. Now, as a student, you have people in your class that you naturally interact with. It's normal. You understand to interact with them. You need to be balanced. It's like what my chemistry teacher said over close to 3 decades. What he said you should know something about everything, but know everything about something. Now, knowing everything about something is focus. That is your field. But knowing something about everything makes you vast. You understand? So I'm in the agricultural field. I'm in agribusiness. You understand me? And everything I do on the internet, you see me, it's related to my work. Are you getting me now? Yeah. But that does not mean I don't know what is happening in finance. I don't know what is happening in the social space. You understand? Yeah. You know those things just for you to know them. You're human. You want to know them. You don't just stay focused. In fact, as a matter of fact, you have limited knowledge if you're just focused on one thing. Because there are other people who give you perspective to that same thing if you relate with them. So it is important to relate. We're social beings, you relate. But what I'm trying to say here is that in relating with other people, you still do not lose focus on what you want to achieve. So you want to come out with a first class. There is something you need to do. Actually, one organization said something that it was a recruitment drive. And I happened to be on one of those they wanted to recruit at then. It's one of the big 4 audit companies in the world. And then they said something that the reason they do not employ first class graduates is because they believe, that is them, they believe that first class graduates are usually antisocial. That they believe the guy who graduated with a 2-2 or a 3rd class is so friendly, that's why he couldn't focus on his studies.
Wow.
Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, that may
It's
be
quite an irony because
yeah. That may be actually on the extreme. You
Mm.
understand? I do subscribe to that, but there is a sense in it. You understand me now? So, as a student, what you want to do, you can be a first class student and still be very social. I mean, that's what I was. When I was in the university, very spiritual. Was in the fellowship. Was in two fellowships actually. My main fellowship was DLCA, but I was also part of the faculty fellowship. But I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of people. Like
How
whole
were you able to
tutorials.
strike that balance?
Yeah, you see, when you come and meet me and say, Valentine, I need tutorial on this, I need tutorial. I hardly tell you no because you're my friend, but I ensure that in doing tutorials for you, it's a cause I'm benefiting from. So it's a two-way thing. So yes, I will say yes to you guys. You understand? I've accommodated you into my time, but I know that it is also helping me to achieve my own goal. You understand what I'm trying to say? There are times I even take up courses that I have passed. Maybe somebody failed it in a previous year. I can just decide to read it on your behalf. It's something I've read before. It helps my knowledge. You understand? But you do not crash into my timetable. If I make room for you in my timetable, it's because it's going to benefit me. You understand? Eventually. That's it. So at the end of the day, you're still my friend, we're still friendly, we still go out together and every other thing, and then everybody's cool. But yet, I still focus on what I'm going to get, and I get my A's.
Oh, that's a very huge one. That's a very huge one. So how you've mentioned it before, but I just still wanted to throw more light on how to identify one's distraction. So for me, my distraction can be friends because I live in an area where I'm surrounded by family and friends. So how do I lock my room and make them not come in? And another person, his own distraction could be the phone because probably you work online, you do everything, and these things keep popping up and all of that. So how do you help us identify our own distractions?
Okay, so you will identify your own distractions yourself, just like you said. For somebody who is extroverted, it might be people, might be friends. You know, you just want to go out, you want to meet friends and all. That may be a distraction for you. The solution may not be locking up yourself. You know, it is intrinsic. It's not external. All this idea of that's why I mentioned it earlier that some people are developing apps for those who are distracted on phone just for you to be able to focus. That's still external. It has to come from within you. You understand? Yes, exactly where I was going to. You must be able to discipline yourself. You understand? I happen to be a very friendly person growing up. I had a lot of friends. I mean, I played a lot of soccer. I played a lot of football. I played football to the point my father looked at me and said, how you take no book? I don't know. You understand? I played a lot of football, but I saw to it that no matter how much I played, my studies do not suffer. Are you getting me now? So if you are the time that people are always coming to visit every time, you don't have time for everybody. That is just the truth. Okay, so if you have 20 friends and 20 friends are always coming around you, you will fail. You end up failing because you want to make time for everybody. You understand what I'm trying to say? You want to make time for everybody, and then where's the time for yourself? Where's the time for yourself? So you need to also draw some lines. And the drawing some lines, it comes from within you. Number one, what do you want to achieve? Then how do you discipline yourself? So you have a smartphone. Why are you always on the internet? There are times I just log myself out. I know I sound like an old school person, but there are times I just drop my phone.
It works for you.
You understand? I just drop my phone. I don't want to. I make sure that I only make my phone available to receive calls because I receive a lot of calls, business calls, and every other thing. I spend a lot of hours on the internet. In the past, just a few, not quite 3 weeks. If you check it out, I've spent I checked it on Glow. I've spent close to 3,000 hours on the internet. You understand? But what am I doing? If you check my internet history, I can show you. If you check my internet, it's work related. Because I do a lot of work, I do feasibility studies, I do a lot of research, reading up and all. You understand? So for me, WhatsApp is just, so I didn't fall into the trap of following WhatsApp channels. WhatsApp brought channel. I didn't fall into the trap. You understand me? It took me a long time before I think it was just a few months ago that I came on TikTok. Some of these things are not useful to me. You understand? People just waste time. I discovered actually that some of these social media platforms, their algorithms are deliberately made for certain regions. This is what I mean. It was discovered actually that the algorithm for TikTok for China is different from the algorithm for TikTok for the US. Yes, the algorithm for TikTok China allow Chinese users to see useful content. So you see children developing apps, working in technology, doing all sort of works and every other thing. That's the algorithm for TikTok China. But guess what the algorithm for TikTok US is? Dance,
entertainment,
shaking of your butt, twerking, and all those things. It means that some of these people just don't have your best interest at heart. So it has to come from within you. You have to make up your mind. What am I doing? What is TikTok doing for me? I mean, why should I spend 20 seconds just watching people doing some certain challenges that do not make sense to me? So it has to come from within you. Either it's phone, either it's family, either it's friends, either it's anything.
Legitimate or illegitimate.
Do you understand? Prioritize them. There are actually things you need to deprioritize. Deprioritization simply means they do not happen in your space. They shouldn't come near you at all. There are things that shouldn't come, near you for whatever reason.
Not urgent and not important.
They are not even supposed to be in, they are something you shouldn't even worry about. You understand me now? Yeah. So those things shouldn't even be in your priority, in your list of priorities. You understand? So that way you keep yourself focused while still being in touch with your friends, but achieving your goals at the same time.
Thank you so much. We are so honored that you honored our request to be here and for the words of wisdom you shared on this platform. Thank you very much. Do you have any last word for our dear viewers?
Well, last words. What I'll just say is that let's stay focused. There are a lot of opportunities in Nigeria. The truth of the matter is, you want to jackpot today. Basically, the difference between Nigeria and the countries you are going to is because it's just when you get to those countries, you become focused. Yes, that's just the truth about it. The systems there do not allow for you, especially because you're an immigrant. You have to be focused if you want to make anything good of your life. So why not stay focused there? You realize those opportunities are actually here. You should stay focused. You achieve your goals. I'm not saying you shouldn't travel, but you don't have to travel to achieve your goals in life, to achieve your destiny in life.
You said it's innate.
Intrinsic. It's innate. It's inside you. So you stay focused on your studies, focused on your business. Don't be too in a rush. Many young people these days, they see the bling on the internet and they just want to be like that. They see this person, this musician, this influencer, this artist, this guy has this money and all. So they lose focus. Do not lose focus. All those things are not real. I know of a popular musician in Nigeria. I'm not going to mention the name because we're on the internet. Who actually came to my other brother to lend him his Mercedes Benz for his photo shoot, for his video shoot. For
so that's just the highlight of his life, not his reality.
Exactly. And my brother, secretly sent me the message. He has a very lovely Mercedes Benz. You understand? The guy came. It's a popular song. If I mention the song now, a lot of you here, and even those watching online, they know the song. But the guy came and met my brother to say, "Oh God, please make I borrow your car, make I use for the video." But you think that is his life? That's not his life. And those are the kind of people that get you distracted. So stay focused. Forget those blings. Your life is better than that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Our dear viewers, the reason why you have to stay focused is because there's an idea that it's inside of you. Like he mentioned, it's something innate. Ideas are greater than men. Ideas don't even die. Ideas outlive a man. So by staying focused, you bring that to fruition. And also, in everything you do, by all means, be successful because failure can never be explained. It is still an excuse. Thank you very much. And please do well to subscribe to our social media handles, Soaring Eagles. Thank you.